Good morning, Taste Buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. If you haven't had any compliments on your cooking lately, join me today as I give you some wonderful recipes for fish dishes on SoFlo Taste. And believe me, with these recipes, you won't have to fish for compliments. How fun is that? Good morning all, I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein coming to you from the Goya Kitchen at J World in beautiful downtown Coconut Creek. Are you a fish eater? More importantly, are you a fish cooker? You're not? Why not? I know some people don't like cooking fish at home, but trust me, if you get the right fresh fish and cook it correctly, you can be a fish lover. And that's what I'm here to do, to give you some foolproof recipes for wonderful fish dishes. So let's get cooking. First dish we're gonna make is papillote. Today I'm using a beautiful snapper that, of course, every fish today came from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Where else, of course? We love them. They have dozens of species of fish and seafood: snapper, grouper, dolphin, salmon, stone crabs, shrimp, scallops, clams, oysters, mussels, mussel meat. You can pick up your order in store at 4191 State Road 7 in Hollywood or go to DelawareChicken.com. Of course, you can call them 954-983-6831. Place an order with the good folks at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. They are there to make your holidays better and life easier. And when you go there, tell them that Michelle sent you. So our snapper is actually without the skin today because I'm doing papillote and I don't want them to curl. I've decided to make this with a little bit of citrus and also some chayote. If you don't know chayote, you should try some. They're just delicious. It's a type of a squash. If you've seen them around, I love to put them in my chicken soup. I stew them. They don't really have that much of a flavor, but they take on whatever flavor you give them. And they're a really great base to this dish. So I'm just gonna shave some because I'm gonna have the fish sitting on the chayote, and it's just going to steam together. I also am cheating a little bit. I normally don't cheat, but when I was at Delaware finding the fish, I saw that they had compound butters, which are flavored butters. It's a garlic and parsley flavored butters. Delicious, and I thought that we could top the fish with a little bit of crumbles of this. I also have one of my favorite chili flakes I've been using lately, Aleppo. Obviously, if you don't have Aleppo, you can just use some red crushed chilies. You can use pepper, whatever it is that you like. I'm using some fresh dill, some beautiful Malden crunchy salt, but you can use kosher, and I'm using a little olive oil. So just put a flat piece of parchment paper down in front of you. I want everything to taste good. So the first I'm gonna do is drizzle the bottom with a little bit of olive oil, season that with some salt, throw whatever crushed chili or pepper you're using, and then I'm going to put my chayote squash. If you don't have chayote squash, not a big deal. You don't have to put anything down. You can just put the fish right on it. Or if you love zucchini, which my son does, you can throw zucchini down here. You can put carrots, you can put tomatoes, you can put onions, you can put anything you want. I want the top to taste good. So again, I'm doing a little oil, salt, Aleppo, and then I'm putting my fish. Look what a gorgeous fillet of snapper this is. It's just, it doesn't smell like anything, maybe the ocean, but it's just so beautifully fresh, which is crazy if you can't find fresh fish here in South Florida. Now you know where to go. Go ahead and put that flat down. And one last time, I'm gonna go ahead and season this, but in this time, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of this butter. Like I said, I was gonna crumble it right over the top, and this will melt, and it will be just delicious. Obviously, the fish needs a little bit of salt as well, a little bit of pepper. Let's go ahead and grab some dill and whatever citrus you like. Citrus is gonna be a theme today because I love citrus with my fish. So let's go green with everything today. So I'm gonna use dill for the top, key lime since I have them. Let's go ahead and put these around. And look how pretty this is. It's very monochromatic. So let's go ahead and fold this piece over the top. And I didn't do the last drizzle of oil because I do have that butter. If you're not going to use the butter, give me another little topping of some good olive oil. I set my oven at 350 degrees. Go ahead and fold this so that it's really nice and tight. Every time you fold over, pull it down to make sure that you don't have any air pockets. The beautiful thing about this, not only does it steam the fish and keep it extremely juicy on the inside. So I'm almost sealed up here. Couple more folds, and see, I'm just being really dramatic with the way that I seal this up, but I want to make sure that there's no air getting in here because I don't want it to dry out. I have one more package that I already made. We can call them little parcels. Make sure that it's all really nice and flat. Okay, I'm going into the oven. This won't take long. A fillet like this should only take 10-11 minutes. Okay, so make sure your oven's good and hot. I'm gonna put these in there, and I just wanna know, have I hooked you with these fish dishes? If so, come right back for another.
Come back to the Goya Kitchen at J.A. World, Michelle, and the food. This is SoFlo Taste.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. All of my recipes are available on the SoFlo Show's webpage. Scan this quick response code to be taken to the fabulous SoFlo Show's page. You'll also see this QRC on the ingredient list throughout the show. Now back to my SoFlo Taste, all about fish. So let's jump right into the next recipe, which are fish and chips, one of my absolute favorite things to eat. So let's go into the batter first. What I have here is cornstarch and flour, equal parts. I'm just gonna mix that together, and I love using chopsticks to make this batter. It's just a beer batter. To that, I'll add some baking powder, pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, and then for the liquid, we're gonna do equal parts of beer to seltzer water. So first I'll add the beer, and then salsa. Let's start there and see how we do. You definitely need those bubbles though to make this good. Mix this around. I don't mind lumps at all until you get what looks like a nice, somewhat thick yet still runny batter. And now we're ready. I'm gonna go ahead and start dusting the flour onto the fish. This is codfish. It's beautiful, beautiful fresh codfish, which of course I got from Jose over at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. You should ask for Jose. The guy knows everything. There is so much more than I do, and I've been cooking for almost 30 years. But when I go in there, I say, Jose, this is what I want to make. What do you recommend? And if he's there, he will steer you in the right direction. So I asked Jose what to make fish and chips with. Cod is always my favorite anyway. And he had this gorgeous, gorgeous codfish there, which they pretty much, I think, almost always do. But you ask them and they'll tell you. So I'm delicately dusting, and I've cut them into like little finger-sized pieces of fish because I don't want them too big. Because what we want is equal parts crunchy to tender, moist fish on the inside. So just quickly dust these into the flour. And at the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my French fries. So I have 2 pots of oil here. I actually have peanut oil going in both of them. I love to fry in peanut oil. It's a very stable oil with a very high smoking point, and so it's really perfect for frying. If you obviously have sensitivities, then don't use it. I'm allergic to peanuts, but I can have peanut oil for some reason. Always be very careful when you place things in oil, especially like these are my homemade French fries that have been in the freezer, so they might have a little ice, so I back up a little bit when I add things in. Also, when you're frying, always have a landing pad. So I have a cookie sheet with some paper towels down because I know exactly where I'm gonna go when I finish frying, because the last thing you want is for your food to be ready and not know where you're gonna put it when it's ready to come out of the oil. So let's just move these around a little bit. They're already starting to turn golden because my oil was really good and hot. Let's jump ahead over here to start the fish. I'm going to give it one last little mix. So bring your bowl with you closer to your oil. I have a spatula ready to go onto my landing pad as well. Dip the fish into the batter. And as you lift, go right into the oil. Try that again. Dipping in, and if you don't feel comfortable with chopsticks, then you can use a fork or a spoon or anything. Your fingers are perfectly fine too. And you're gonna see that this will oh, it smells like donuts. These are going to caramelize just beautifully because of the dark beer. If you wanted to, if you felt a little unsure of your movements, you can actually use a piece of onion for your first fry to see how you do. And then you can use the fresh fish after that, just to like test the waters for yourself. You never want to throw anything into the oil in a big plop because this is very hot oil. This is 350 degrees, and you just want to be a little careful. This is what I consider to be as close to a British recipe as I could muster. I don't have malt vinegar, however, with me to top it. I totally forgot about the malt vinegar, but I do have tartar sauce. And there we have it. My fries are beautifully golden. I'm going to go ahead and remove them from the oil. I love to keep the skin on my potatoes when I do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and season my French fries. Check and see how our fish is doing. They look just lovely. They just need another minute. All right, so hurry up, come right back because these have only about 30 seconds to go. And then of course we will make a little tartar sauce together. And I think by that time we'll be able to pull out our papillote out of the oven. Another fishy recipe in a moment, so come right back. I'll finish this recipe right after this. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We're here at JA World in Coconut Creek, a place dedicated to our kids. For information about this instructional institution, go to jasouthflorida.org or call them at 954-979-7100. Now back to the food. Oy! All right, fish and chips are looking darn good. I'm gonna make a very quick tartar sauce. I've got some mayonnaise here. Gonna add a little bit of lemon, some tiny minced shallots, some chopped caper, parsley, and you could go with one or two things. You can go with cayenne, hot sauce, or both. I think I'm going to use a little hot sauce today. And go ahead and mix that up. Like I said when I was cooking the fish and chips, I forgot the malt vinegar, which I can't believe I did. So if you love malt vinegar, you can absolutely add that to your fish and chips. I'm just going to add a little tartar sauce. That's really all I ever need. And there you have it. Beautiful fish and chips. And then look at this papillote. It's just so pretty, so green with that gorgeous key lime on the top. Let me show you how I opened up that beautiful package. So this is how it came out. And you basically just gently open it up. And look how beautiful this is. I mean, I love to serve it with the paper because it has all the accumulated juices on the bottom. But of course, with a spatula, you can very gingerly remove that and pour all the juices over. Either way, you've got to try this recipe. It is so good and so fresh. Yum. All right, moving on. I adore flounder, but I also love shrimp. So I figured I'd make kind of a more creative dish to show off both of these ingredients. So here is a fillet of flounder. Rather than just sauteing it, where a lot of people would probably do, I'm going to give it some fun, interesting flavors and do a little bit more of a braise. I also brought some delicious culantro, which I haven't brought to the show much, which is the cousin of the cilantro, but a lot stronger in flavor. I also have some fresh mint tucked in here as well from my garden. So let's jump right in. What we're gonna do is saute the flounder on one pan, make the shrimp with the coconut stew in the other pan, and then combine them to finish cooking the flounder with all that flavor. Flounder doesn't really have a huge amount of flavor, but it soaks up anything you give it. Flounder usually is just served sauté with a little brown butter, maybe some caper and lemon, but why not make it a little more creative like today? So I'm just gonna season the flounder with salt and pepper. I could also call this Fluke. I believe that this is actually a Fluke. It's just such a pretty piece of fish. I'm gonna go ahead and cook this with a little bit of butter and a little bit of oil as well. Actually, let's do that for both the shrimp and the fish. About a half a tablespoon for both. So presentation side always gets sauteed first, so this side would be the presentation side, the prettier side of the fish, not the bloodline of the fish. So go ahead and add that straight into the pan, making sure you always add it away from you. Whenever you are about to drop it down into the pan, keep it away from you so that you don't hurt yourself. I'm just gonna go with one because I don't wanna overcrowd the pan. So like I said, I'm gonna cook the shrimp and the sauce in this side. So let's start out with some aromatics. I've got some julienne shallot. I'm gonna go ahead and microplane in some fresh garlic. I'm also gonna microplane in some fresh ginger. And then I've decided to drop about a half a Scotch bonnet in for flavor, but we'll remove it so that nobody eats it. Although, I know a couple people that would. The next thing we're gonna add in is a little bit of curry spice. Now there's a lot of different curries on the market. Some are spicy, some aren't spicy, some are Madras. You have Thai flavored, you have more of an Indian flavor, and that's what this is. To that, I'll add a little bit of peeled and chopped tomato, which these are fresh, but you can obviously get them canned as well. A little bit of chicken broth and a little bit of coconut milk. Not sweetened coconut milk, just plain coconut milk, no added sugar. The chicken broth is to loosen it a little. If you'd rather do it with water, it's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and flip over our fish. Okay, so I'm gonna remove a little bit of the fat from the pan, and then we're gonna add all that in here. Okay, go ahead and throw some shrimp in. These are beautiful, what we call reds, Florida reds shrimp. They are so good and they don't need a very long amount of cooking time. I'm gonna go ahead and add my liquid into the pan to finish cooking the scallop and the fish. The last thing I'll do is add just about a half a tablespoon of butter to finish. Some crunchy sea salt right at the end. And then we're gonna pick some culantro leaves, as well as some mint leaves. And this only needs about 30 seconds more of cooking. So when you come back, we can see how all this looks together in one big, beautiful dish. I'll see you in just a minute. Stay tuned to SoFlo Taste. We'll be right back. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. So our beautiful fluke or flounder, you can call it either one, is finished with those gorgeous red shrimp and the curry flavors with the coconut. I kind of went all over the place with it, but it's really very simple and just delicious. I served it with a little bit of coconut rice topped with some toasted coconut. And I know I put the mint in there already in the culantro, but it's always pretty to finish things with a little bit of fresh herb right over the top. I sure hope that I gave you some ideas that will expand your fish cooking knowledge. I'm sure it will expand your fish eating enjoyment. Now, who doesn't like a good sandwich? Better yet, who doesn't love a great sandwich? Well, join me next week because I've got some great sandwiches for you. Everything from a croque madame to a sloppy joe. They're next time on SoFlo Taste. Time to check in with Hunter Frankie, host of SoFlo Health. What have you got for us tomorrow on SoFlo Health?
Hey Michelle, tomorrow on SoFlo Health, we explore the merits of superfoods, visit a healthy Mediterranean-style restaurant.
Anyone is a mote. You are a mote.
Thank you. And learn how to do lunges.
Now let's add a little resistance. What do you
Great.
think?
Sounds
25 pounds, not much for you.
Don't miss it, tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on the one and only Local 10.
Okay, my friend, we'll be sure to watch. So Taste Buds, again, thanks for watching. Please be smart, be safe, and be vaccinated. And I'll see you here next week. Goodbye, and very good taste. Fantastic.